Alright folks, we have arrived for the 21st episode here in the challenge series. Trying to change the syntax around, don't know why. A bit of a variety pack in this one. We don't have a roulette race scheduled in this week, and we have a multi-class race instead. Well, along with everything else, there's a multi-class race. There's a lot to be said in this one. You can already see two of the cars parked in this thumbnail that are pretty foreign. You can probably guess what one of them is just looking at it, but the other one not so much. And then there's just Takahata in the distance. So now let's head into the episode because this one might take a while. Nice lights. My throat is not cooperating. We're here at the first round of the episode. It is a 720 category event. And we have at least one car debuting here. As you can see right in the center of the screen. Nico expressed the desire to have a top division car, the same as Ellie, Honoka, Reen, and myself do, and figured the best car to pick would be a Viper, which I suppose always say with somebody who's new to something, they haven't formed habits yet. A lot of drivers in this series are pretty rigidly stuck on their few vehicles that they like. Example, Travis Wild, who refuses to drive anything that's not a Porsche. Kogasa, who refuses to drive anything that's not a Jag. Eric, who refuses to drive anything that's not a Ferrari. And so on and so forth. Nico hasn't been in the racing scene long enough to have a favorite company, so she's still in that, growing stage where she can... I mean, hypothetically anybody can, but she's still, she's still moving between companies, moving between manufacturers. She's not rigidly hooked on Toyota. She just picked the RS because she thought it was cute, and somebody helped make that livery for her on the 2000 GT. But she figured, I'll go with the Viper because Reen and Riker drive Vipers, so they should know how to tune them. So... Seems like decent logic to me. And this is Dragon Trail's reverse layout. I don't think we've done a reverse track in the challenge series yet. If we have, not many times. Just like Nico herself, you don't miss this car coming down the road. She puts herself into maybe into 14th. Riley got a lot of exit curb there and nearly spun out. Ellie up ahead actually got pushed into the grass by, I think that'd be Tyler, who tried to get ahead of her. There are two other debuting drivers you've just seen previews of. I think Stephanie just took that, yeah. She took it exiting the chicane, kind of gets into Orleans a lot, and then just has better horsepower on the exit. The crossbow doesn't have much horsepower to speak of, so... 3 actually, I forgot about that character. There's Ellie. And we'll cover each of the new drivers as Nico goes to go ahead of them. The first is Aquila De Fuoco. And I forgot I can't do that in this camera. he's running a Firebird in the 720 category, but it still works. How? That thing's got a Corvette engine in it. It has the engine from a C6 Corvette shoved in the engine bay. So the thing puts out more horsepower than this Viper. So yeah, it fits. He's basically in the challenge series to really get a grasp of what an engine-swapped classic like a Firebird can achieve, amongst dozens of other high-end cars like a Viper or Porsche Carrera. I was very cautious through the death chicane. I suppose with a name like that you'd be too, but... It gets into the next of the rookie drivers that are 430. After the whole Scuderia Fidanzi thing fell apart, the F430 as a vehicle has been absent from the Challenge Series until the appearance of this driver. Nico Mizoto. This guy, Gina knows this person. I don't remember from where. I don't think she told me. I'm pretty sure I asked, but she didn't tell me. But if it weren't for that, I would never have let this guy on a Challenge Series grid. This guy is just insufferable. He's full of just bad takes. Probably sexist, possibly racist. Not sure on that one, but definitely, not even probably, he is blatantly sexist. One of those women don't have any place in motorsport types who are apparently living in 1992 or something. I don't know. Dude was born in 1992, for crying out loud, but he acts like he's a baby boomer. These darn kids with their BLTQ plus or whatever, I feel the urge to upchuck whenever I'm in a room with this guy, and I really wish Gina would just get her head out of her ass when it comes to finding some of these guys. And then the other one is... Erica Roth. Danish. The first Danish driver to join the Challenge Series. There's going to be an ongoing thing of new drivers making their debuts in this episode. Just like the last one with all of Thrasher's crew. A lot of these drivers that are coming into the series, such as Roth and De Fuoco, are here because we have, as previously mentioned, at the end of the last episode, we took on Ross Drinkwater as a sort of chief advisor of recruitment, and boy, has he recruited a lot. So yeah, Erica Roth as Breen runs terribly wide and finds some grass. Erica Roth is a mute. She doesn't talk very often at all. Definitely a person of action. And she's here to prove herself with her actions. Just getting her to answer any sort of questions about who she is as a person is like trying to ask a brick wall question. It just, there's no conversation, it's not going to get you anywhere. Nico is already looking to take the lead away from Stephanie Kaiser. I'd say already, we are halfway through the race. I will say the death chicane is a lot less imposing the other way. Nico gets a huge exit there. Does Stephanie challenge on the outside? She does. This hairpin is now one that tightens at the exit rather than opens up like it does going forwards. I don't much enjoy it, but Nico is now the leader, and Barbara wants to follow her by the Porsche, and I believe, yeah, she will succeed. I tell you one thing, you couldn't pay me to drive a crossbow. These things just look like a coffin with suspension dampers on them. It just looks like it'd just kill me. Like, I don't know, I just feel... If the snap oversteer doesn't kill you, the fact that the thing basically has nothing protecting a driver anywhere will. Nico's really making good her escape plan. She's already probably got a 2-second lead over Paige. Down the front straightaway, Erica Roth overtook Orleans. Marine wants to do the same. It hasn't really chosen the best location for that. But botches that chicane. And he barely made any steering input at all in those first 2 corners on the S's. Or, I mean, that's not much steering input, that's the most he put, and that's not a lot. What does he have the steering ratio at? Like 18 to 1? Or, not, no. Like 6 to 1? Well, Nico's idea to use the Viper expertise that Reen and I have possessed over the years. She's made quite a debut with it, and she wins your Dragon Trail. Barbara and Stephanie. This is all female top 5. This is Nico, Barbara, Stephanie, Alice, Erica. Erica had a pretty solid debut herself. I think she started about 10th. Remember right? Actually, fact check that. Okay, she started 6th. So never mind, that wasn't. She only really went up 1 place. Technically gained 2 during the race because Nico, me, player, passed her. And she overtook Sebastian and me, I think. I don't know. Next race, before I confuse myself any further. A light rain is hitting Red Bull Ring as we get started here on the second race of the episode. And the POV car is Kazuyo Takahata, as foreshadowed by the sort of thumbnail and everything else. Looking up the running order. So this is a 680 category race, so we only have 1 debuting racer in this round. Who we are not going to get a good shot of at all because he's on the outside of Michiko. There we go. Tony Lombardi, or Anthony. Well, he just goes by Tony. Former Amazon employee got fired for not following a handful of the company's policies. But he made so much money during his time there as an executive that honestly he'd outlive that job. Maybe he did it because of that, and honestly, who knows? This guy, he seems to be a bit off. Despite having been fired, what I understand, about a month or two ago, he still has the Amazon Prime logo on his car as its title sponsor. So that just confuses me. It's next to the number board, but it's kind of hard to read because it's not a bright red. Apparently Shadow the Hedgehog designed this man's Lancer. There we go, that's a better shot. As Gina is going exploring, forget finding new drivers. Gina can barely find the racing service half the time. It's the battle for P11 between Takahata and Schwartz. All-wheel drive of that R32 is going to be immensely helpful in these conditions. Better traction as a whole. He's now just dancing in and out of the traffic ahead of the new guy in the Evo 10. All-wheel drive Gopher runs into a Toyota Crown and has to slam the brakes to not run them over. A bit of understeer from the R32. As any form of automotive-based media will tell you, the R32 is very good at that. But sometimes it also has its own set of surprises, like that. Just patches of the focus. And Mishima is being a clown up ahead. Hey Reiko, I don't know if you're aware, this is the Red Bull Ring. There's no speed limit here. Just thought you should be aware. They're on the right tires, so that isn't the problem. No. This is the moment that certainly at least Kazuya was waiting for. Another chance to battle Akira Taniguchi in that Supra. The constant sort of dispute that they have between all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive, the odds sort of shifted in Kazuya's favor as, well, there's rain on this circuit, which of course that's going to benefit the rear-wheel drive car. Akira hardly even put up a challenge for the R32, and Takahata moves to the lead of the race. Man, hearing those engine noises and surround sound was really weird. Now it is just a hullabaloo up here. I think Tyler was just overtaken by Stephanie, but it was in a weird spot which created some traffic. Asher wants a pass on the Evo 10. Yes, the inside. Oh, that's not pretty. Oh, but it bites him in the ass as he loses control and concedes the position. What the heck? He doesn't get ahead of the Evo 10 after all. Takahata, he's found a curb. Keeps that straight, courtesy of four-wheel drive. Even despite that spin, he's produced quite a gap. But there's the R32 moment. There's some understeer. There's some sand, and there's drifting. Oh boy! Oh, more sand. Oh my god. You got it? You got it. Jesus. All that from one understeer moment. But he didn't hit a guardrail, so he's automatically better than most R32s in media. Let's see what this looked like to be him. He is wrestling that steering wheel. And I somehow get the impression he would not have saved that if he did not have all-wheel drive. He seems to be quite cautious into these last two turns. But Akira doesn't seem to contest that. So, Wild Skyline, he won it, despite your understeer. Taniguchi and Colin Morris round out the podium. Schwartz fourth from a midfield starting spot, and the robot Porsche grabs P5. Maki just barely edged out Mishima. No, just barely lost to Mishima and drag race to the finish line. And that's the race. The rain let up a tiny bit by the end, but ultimately it never actually stopped raining, and the track definitely never dried out. On to race 3. It's time for the Temple of Speed here at Monza for the 640 category event. We're already 3 wide, and haven't even been able to introduce who we're playing as. It is Yatsuba Takani, who's been a relatively inactive driver this far in the Challenge Series. When they have shown up, be prepared for moments that make you think they're about to crash, because they're a drifter at heart. As there are some debuting drivers in this race as well. The first of them, oh, I should say the last of them, a real person, Fidel Fabian, who is here off a recommendation of Jake Scarborough, who's not in this race because he doesn't have a car that runs in the 640 class. Apparently this car is a reference to some kind of racing, or not racing, like racing minigame or something. This is supposed to be a taxi, I guess. Most taxis I know of are usually yellow, so I'm not really sure what the hell, but sure. There we go. Baxter Brooks. He and Skylar Stone recently got engaged, and they joined the Challenge Series together. They run in sister cars of one another. Brooks in a BRZ, Skylar Stone in a GR86. But I mean, Baxter Brooks is one of those idiots who likes stanced cars. Oh, this worked. Huh. Interesting. As you can see, his car is slammed. The wheels are as cambered as they really get. And I feel like that's a red flag in itself. Not to mention he's usually stoned if I see him outside of the racing track. His fiancée, Skylar, is much more normal and doesn't have her wheels at like negative 27 degrees of camber. Instead, she's just an airhead, kind of oblivious to her surroundings sometimes. As you can see, pretty good example of that right there. She just bumps into her own fiance. I almost said boyfriend. I mean, that's technically right, but also wrong. As Takani is gonna roll up on the two lovebirds. Uno, dos, braking zone. The next one along is Lucas Mccain. He is the son of Nathan Mccain, who is a renowned driver for the racing team Raven West. When Nathan retired, he bought a stock in Raven West with the idea of his partial ownership allowing him to bring his son on as a prospect driver. Lucas, to everyone's surprise, declined this opportunity, stating that he wanted to forge his own path separate from nepotism. Respectable, but also possibly stupid. So he's here now in the Challenge Series. Ironically, Ross Drinkwater knows him because the team that his SR3 represents is Raven West. They were teammates together in the Radical Series. Because McCain did do a year under Raven West before deciding, you know, I'm gonna go my own way. And then the last of the debuting drivers. Probably one of my favorite looking cars, but this has got to be jarring for some people, such as Kogasa up here. Minako Kochiya, who grew up basically living off of anime, manga, and video games. She played a heck of a lot of Gran Turismo 5 and 6 when she was younger, and as a result, she had a dream car in the form of the RX-8. Her parents are rich, so when she got her driver's license, she got a RX-8 for her Sweet 16. That must be nice. I'm 21 in real life, I don't even have a car. After a bunch of online shopping later, she managed to create her real dream car in the Tasha livery. Darn it! Lighting, please. There we go. It is an Itasha for Toho project, particularly with Sane Kochiya, who's her comfort character, she refers to her, and also because they share last name. This car showed up in a couple of amateur drift events when a music doujin circle by the name of A1 took notice of the car and started sponsoring it. And this continues into the Challenge Series where her Itasha livery follows, and the A1 sponsorship does as well. The awkward thing, Sane Kochiya, if anyone is paying any attention here, is a Toho character. You know who else are Toho characters? Suwako, Nidori, and Kogasa. Sane is literally Suwako's daughter, or was. You see where that might be a bit harrowing to see an avatar of your deceased descendants on the side of a race car? It'd be like looking into a casket and seeing yourself, pretty much. Takani just sneaks ahead of the RX-8. Preferring handling the RX-8 actually doesn't have a whole lot of horsepower. It's only got about 270 or something. And actually, I think she left it at the old gentleman's agreement value of 276. For a second, I thought they were about to be 3 wide into Ascari. That would have been not good. So it's a battle for the lead between Valentine and Takani. And Valentine will lead for the moment. They both get a little loose on the exit, but a better exit for the S-15. So this will go down to Parabolica, where they might... Nope. Let's see what will be clear before we get there. Imagine getting overtaken by a Volkswagen Beetle at Monza. That's gotta be just insulting, almost. But this thing can move like 160 out of a bug. That's ridiculous. Joe Moore does not like being passed by it, though. I mean, he just sends it on the inside. I am creating an ultimate train behind me. About to be some Volkswagen versus Volkswagen violence here. Unless Joe Moore interferes. Or if, like, Mccain goes for a pass, doesn't work, and now he's been overtaken by that bug who just got the exit of a lifetime out of that second chicane, whose name always escapes me. Into Ascari one more time. Second gear is a bold strategy. Uh-oh. Ooh! Another big save on the episode. The second one so far. That's a lot of angle. That's like an actual drift angle there. That snaps the other way because you have to make a corner, and she saves it and stays in the lead. Valentine has a huge run, however, so this is going to go into the last turn. It's going to go right into Parabolica to determine who wins the race. This will be close. Axel might have more power on the exit, but it's power versus handling. And Takani blocks on the exit, so that just about blocks Valentine off. And so Yotsubu Takane will win at Monza despite her initial D moments through Variante Ascari. Kagase will finish off the podium. Maki will come from, I believe, 6th or 7th on the grid for 4th. And I once again perform very average in my RX-7. Well, even for the new guy who got shafted by the starting grid, starting 18th, still beat the league owner. So, that's 2 bogeys in a row for Gina. That's... As the person who's running the place, that's gotta be a bit just embarrassing. We're here for the 4th race of the episode. And it is time for the multi-class race here at Interlagos. It is the 680 class and the 600 class at this 4-lap event. Most of these would usually be timed races, but That just didn't happen. The POV car is Tony Lombardi, who made his debut just a couple of rounds ago at Red Bull Ring. I know track names. There's suddenly a sunrise happening. There's definitely a lot of sunrise. So my brain forgets how to operate a replay system. Let's see, quick overview of... I'm really just dodging and dipping around the episode time limit here, aren't I? Let's see, first... Charlotte Riel. A... auto mechanic, auto repair shop owner from France. However, this particular one has been accused of price jacking based on the person's opinion of the person that they are serving. In other words, you usually get charged more if you're not a woman. If you are a man, you'll probably be paying an extra 15% in labor costs. That is not how it's supposed to work. I do believe that's probably some kind of law being broken. I don't really know exactly what one, but it's probably a law to do that. I mean, I think price jacking, price gouging in itself is, it wouldn't matter under what circumstances, because you're already committing a crime anyway. Seemingly, those accusations seem to hit pretty close to home, because she's not been in that shop for a couple of weeks now, and now she suddenly appears here in the Challenge series. It may not be a very major racing organization, but that doesn't mean we're a hiding spot for criminals, like we're some sort of alleyway in Need for Speed Carbon. This is not Babylon the Great, crying out loud. And because it's not really a... Because it's not like a harmful crime, it's money, it's not physical harm. Gina's willing to turn the other way. Same with Tony Lombardi himself, who got fired from Amazon because of accusations of prostitution. It was not prostitution, it was being a sugar daddy. Which is, I mean, it's not quite as bad, but that's still not good. I had no idea that compensated romance was against Amazon's policy. I didn't know they had policies there, other than rip people off. Violetta Vegas is the woman who was in the sugar daddy-esque relationship with Lombardi. So they're technically boyfriend and girlfriend. Just, you know, on a monetary basis. What Lombardi doesn't know is that the only reason that Vegas agreed to join him in the Challenge series was because she's hopeful that the race winnings that she earns here will allow her to sustain herself without the help of Tony. Once she's obtained a financial stability via race results and race prizes, there will be a swift breakup coming. So, while Lombardi is deplorable, his own girlfriend, Vegas, is kind of like an underdog in a way of like you want this person to succeed for their own betterment. Anyone down here? Yes, there's Elena Johnson, who is actually the sister of Skylar Stone. Her name is Helena. They've been asked to be referred to as Elena Johnson to remain inconspicuous. They are very protective of their airhead sister, Skylar, and they don't really trust that Baxter character any further than she can throw him. Which, considering how strong she looks, that's probably pretty far. She's built like a Street Fighter character. Could probably hit a Cammy White cosplay pretty well if she wanted. She's even got, you know, British accent. All three of them are from England. All three of them being the two Stone sisters, and then what's Baxter Brooks. There's too many names, too many people have joined at the same time, and it's kind of making my head spin. Her relationship with Skylar is pretty rocky because of how intrusive she is on her younger sister because of that boyfriend. But honestly, I'd take one look at him and I'd probably be protecting my sister from him too if I had one. And then we have Siegfried Brandt, a former employee of RUF, R-U-F? I think it's RUF. The Porsche tuning company thing that did like Yellowbird. And they were basically Porsche before any other game besides Need for Speed could have Porsche. He is very well known for putting big engines in cars that don't need big engines. Prime example of this is his own vehicle here, his S13 Silvia Q's. Looks like a basic commuter car, except for the weird, crazy HKS livery going on, and the fact that it's sitting at 1,196 horsepower. Trying to put the camera back on it when it gets onto the back straightaway or main straightaway, and we'll watch a literal top-fuel dragster in the form of a late 80s secretary car. Oh god! Oh, I see what that is. Yeah, Lombardi doesn't really care what he has to do to pass somebody, and he probably also did that to allow his girlfriend to pass, which she did. So I guess they're working together relatively well for a basically one-sided relationship that's only being supported by monetary, financial gain rather than by actual romance. Now we can witness the S13. Except there's a GTO in the way, so we can't really do that. And also because of how much faster it's going, it has to brake really early, so it's very vulnerable to dive bombs if you're close enough to it still. Which both Amy and Kira have decided to demonstrate. But aim and fire. It's the speed difference of that braking zone. Even though it's so much earlier for that S13, it does not matter. We'll see again as he just rockets ahead of that Civic. Meanwhile, while we're watching a literal dragster, we have a battle for the lead between two of the new drivers, Lombardi and Riel. The person who got fired from Amazon versus the person whose auto repair shop almost got shut down. This is just a battle of capitalism if ever I saw one. Are we sure these aren't both Americans? Workshop etiquette is non-existent between these two, but apparently racetrack etiquette somehow is. Riel manages to fight back through the middle part of this sector. Bit of oversteer for a Lancer, that seems ass backwards. Riel still holding on the outside in that Porsche as we now head out of the last hairpin down the hill, and not enough grip from the Evo 10 to hang the outside. And then Riel defends into the last braking zone of the lap. But now we're onto the main drag, and the all-wheel drive launch out of the corner shall propel Anthony Lombardi, Tony, whatever, into the lead of the race, with now basically a lap to go in the race. Just hear Brandt's tires just screaming for mercy as it hits nearly 190 going into T1. Those are the kind of speeds you'd be getting from a car at 720. I don't even think all of the 720 class cars can hit that into one. He's also not braking very aggressively. Dom DePrisco is now catching Riel. He was a dark horse that nearly won the last time the Challenge Series visited Interlagos, but I don't think he'll have the same luck this time. If he plays his cards right, he'll still second on the front straightaway, but I don't think he's winning from here. And so, while this is not Hollywood, sometimes bad people do have success. Oh no, Tony Lombardi wins the race barely over Charlotte Riel and DePrisco. That was very close at the line. I'm just gonna go back and see that margin. That was loud. I don't know why he hit the brakes there. If he just moved to a side, he would have had that second place. I believe another drag race was had between... Never mind. Well, kind of. It wasn't a drag race, but it was an out-dragging moment as we head up to the line. Vegas got robbed of P4 at the last possible second. I should also point out, Viola Vegas worked in the same Amazon branch that Tony Lombardi did, and that's how they met. And then became co-worker relationship, but it's always a bad look when an intern is falling in love with, or I should say when an executive is falling in love with their intern. So that automatically raised eyebrows. Anyway, on to the final round.
Bruh.